Seems to not be coming up. Okay, there we go. Now it's live. Okay, so I think YouTube is officially live now. I think Twitch has been live for like 5 minutes. Sorry about that, but just trying to get everything hooked up. But it does seem to be streaming. What's the bitrate like? Okay, it's fine on Twitch. How are we looking on YouTube? Looks fine on YouTube. This looks good. Cool. So first things first. If you look over here, I have added very exciting freeze grenades to the game. Yes, ranged gets all of its fancy status effects in the form of various grenades, and a lot of them have AOE. So this one has freeze. Freeze is pretty cool because it does a stun effect, and if it kills, it actually stays inside that ice cube, which is quite fun. But the laser slime is a little bit too weak, so I'll show you on the lightning slimes, where we can really see the effect that the freeze grenades can have. If you're wondering why the game is lagging a little bit here, it's not actually the game, it is OBS plus Unity plus. So a little bit overwhelming my computer over here. But check this out. So once they get hit with the grenade, they get trapped until the ice melts. They can still damage you if you stand next to them, so you got to be careful in terms of positioning. But the freeze effect is AOE, so you can actually stack up quite a few characters and manage it that way. So if I maybe do this. Oh, we lost one. Hello from Poland. Hello, Ziggler Games. How are you doing? I'm in Cape Town, South Africa, so that is quite a distance. There we go. Once you get a freeze, and you can see they'll have to pathfind around the blocks. Pretty cool. And very useful. There we go. Managed to kill both of those with grenade. I can switch to poison as well. So this was the other effect. I tried to develop my passions. That's awesome. Video game development is my passion, so I'm with you there, brother. Let's see. Hello, Mom. Thanks for watching the stream as always. Show you my freeze grenades. I'm pretty chuffed with them. They're my ice cube grenades. So what's quite cool is this is a fully multiplayer feature, so anyone who's nearby you will see the cubes. You can freeze enemies on behalf of your friends. You guys can kind of coordinate freezes in terms of combat, because the freeze grenades don't do a lot of damage, but they're very useful, as you can see. So watch. If I get a pattern here, the AoE will only hit the northeast, southwest tile of the actual mob I'm targeting. So if I target this one like this, and actually land a hit, it will freeze in that kind of cross pattern because I'm using a medium grenade. A large grenade will actually hit everyone, so there we go. So that shows the area effect, as you can see. And yeah. And the same principle applies to the poison grenades, and basically each explosive category in ranging has these status effect grenades that have various trade-offs. So the poison, once you've poisoned a monster, you can't re-poison them, and again the grenades do pretty low damage by themselves. So you're kind of incentivized to... I'm trying to get a nice stack of monsters here. Maybe if I do this. Cool. Anyway. See if we can land a hit, and then a bunch of these are going to get poisoned because this also has splash damage. Now, one of the main things I want to do today is actually add some more enemies, because obviously I'm only fighting these lesser slimes, and wow, I'm really not hitting this guy. That is crazy. Did I really miss every hit there? I think I actually did. Like on just pure chance. It's crazy. Okay, there we go. So that's a poison. Yeah, I just missed every hit. That is crazy RNG. This character has 66 range. Oh, I suppose I only have 5 accuracy. Okay, that actually makes complete sense now. Okay, so this is my account with 5 accuracy, so I'm actually going to miss a lot on this account, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to change accounts because, again, these all test accounts are created the game. So this is player 4. I'm going to go in player 3. You'll notice I have no Steam checked. This is because normally the game is automatically going to log you in via your Steam account. We've already got that set up using SteamAuth. What I've got set up now is that it does a login. Basically, it bypasses the Steam auth so that I can test. Okay, here's my character, which has 42 accuracy. Okay, that explains everything. Because I thought I was on the 42 accuracy account, just missing 15 shots in a row against a lightning slime. The good news is a character with 5 accuracy shouldn't be hitting lightning slimes that often, so the game balance is actually working, so that's a good sign. Anyway, I want to throw 1 or 2 more cube grenades at the lightning slimes, and then we can move on to probably building the greater slimes and populating that entire kind of sprite sheet system. Also, something I've added new is the mini-map over here, which I'm very chuffed with. Helps a lot with giving kind of proportion to where you are in the world. And I've also made the different biomes come up as different colors, so quite enjoy that as well. Okay, so now I can grab my poison grenade and I'll hit these 4 once this poison hits because of the pattern. There we go. Well, 2 died because poison does a lot of damage, but yeah. So trade-offs, right? So here I can freeze them. Now, obviously, an advantage to freezing is I can then throw a poison grenade and actually get the poison off at distance. So you can combine the different behaviors, and there's a little bit of balance around that. But ranging is really the last thing that we're keeping a lot of the main original design from Damascus in, because what we're going to do when we finally get into what's the word, psychic and destruction and faith, those skills are going to be kind of rebalanced and redesigned to work with each other, and we're going to do a lot more in terms of psychic and that sort of stuff. And I'm almost done range because in terms of these grenades, we've got standard AOE. So I think this is a large grenade. This will just, yeah, this will just smack. So we've got standard AOE in the game. We've got poison damage effects. We've got freeze damage effects. We've got AOE for all of that. I only need to do napalm, which is burn. That's kind of similar to poison. And then I've got to do, what's the word? Lifesteal, that's the other one. And lifesteal is also pretty simple. I mean, on the note of lifesteal, I've actually been working on a food system, so I should be able to test that as well. Another thought I had is how's the audio? Because what I've done is I've put the noise suppression on. I didn't realize that OBS had a setting that you can just choose to do noise suppression, and then it deals with a lot of the background noise that comes from a mic. So hopefully that sounds a little bit better. I also figured out my mic was only coming through like the left audio channel, so fixed that as well. Feeling a little bit chuffed. Okay, so I'm trying to get these guys into a bit of a cube. Might be a little bit difficult here. Okay, that's pretty good. So there you go. As you can see, the AoE grenade just, it does so much. It hits so many, and again, it's damage focused, so you're taking damage while using this, and there's no special DOTs or anything like that. But just big hits. Oh yeah. Again, I love this area. It's where all the lightning slimes are. Do you know what I want to do? I'm thinking of having storms form in this area and then have like actual lightning bolts striking down just to give it a bit of ambience. Also, and this is a point my mom brought up in a conversation I was having earlier today, is I want to turn the sky on, and I'm just going to go for a generic sunny sky for now. Because basically the game will have a day-night cycle and we can code that later. But for now, what I've been thinking about is doing a just putting the sky in for now, because I had it as a kind of black box for the longest time. So if we go here to the camera, we can just kind of choose a kind of friendly blue, just relaxing blue. Like not too bright, maybe a little bit of a light blue. So if we check that out, that'll automatically put this blue up here. But I'll show you the problem with that. So the problem with that is my fog. As you can see, the fog is black fog. So in the far distance, our mountains are black rather than linked to the blue. Probably for accuracy, the fog should be like a dark blue to give that kind of distance fog appeal, or it should blend with the sky. So maybe I'm just going to make this big screen so everyone can see. So what we're dealing with is over here. So you can see I've got this kind of blue sky in the background. And then we can give the mountains kind of a proper filter that connects it. Then the distance fog won't have that problem anymore. Obviously when it was all black, that wasn't really visible. So if I go here, we go into our lighting settings. Open that, go to environment, and you can see here we can choose the fog color. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to color drop the same color we did for the sky. That by itself should already do quite a lot. So let's see where we're at. There we go. So already you can see you kind of get this blue fog in the distance, and then, you know, mountains in the distance kind of fade in, and it ties into the sky. Now, the fog might be a little bit aggressive when I look at it like this, because over here it's already quite foggy, so we can tune this a little bit. So minimize our game a bit, go back to our environment. So the fog starts at 50 and ends at 200. So maybe let's put the start distance out to like 100. Yeah. So at 100, the fog is only kicking in kind of more towards our render edge. And then the main game world, kind of where the player is interacting, is much more in focus. One more thing that the fog going for the blue sky does is it shows my mistakes more clearly. So if you see that patch over there, there is a part in the map generator that didn't generate correctly, and I need to fix it. But when it was a kind of black skybox, that was less noticeable. Okay, maybe we push the fog out a little bit more. I'm going to try 150. And I'm going to make sure that we keep these settings. Let's go 150. So yeah, you can see like 0 what it would look like. That might not be enough, because now it looks like the fog is kind of quite aggressive. What do we think? I don't know, it's not that aggressive. And I feel it keeps the main, like the play area in focus. What do you guys think? So I can't tell if it looks strange where the ocean hits the sky, like this, and whether the sky should be a darker blue just to match this ocean and not have an issue here. And what is happening here? Strange. Hmm. Well, let's try it. I think first things first, let's just go to the camera. So if we go for kind of deeper blue, the camera might be more applicable. Okay, so already the deeper blue looks better with the ocean. And now we just have to fix the fog, I think. So if we just do a dropper. Okay. So that looks a lot more natural. Like I think it's not as contrasty. I think we lost our fog distance settings. So I think we're going to do two things. Go back to our settings. We're going to remember to drop her. I'm going to push this up to 165. And push this to like 250. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's pretty cool. So I think we're getting overall more distance because I pushed the edge to 250. So you can see things in the distance. You're getting the kind of blue fog for daytime if you kind of bring your camera angle down here. And we'll put some sky stuff in, like some clouds and that, to make it a little bit more visually interesting. And then the main play area that you're looking at is kind of over here and isn't all fogged up. And oh, I think the blue's not too bad. Yeah, I'm also quite chuffed with this. So I've fixed the clipping here. So previously these guys used to clip as they climbed. I just put a little raycast under them to keep the sprite above it. Basically, the server doesn't care about the height. These angry slimes. They're not happy. I'm going to try a slightly brighter blue. Just a little bit happier. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's kind of like copy that. It's maybe a little bit electric of a blue, but like for me this is like a noon, and I think this is the kind of blue that matches the ocean. I know it might be too intense. I'm gonna probably mess with the blues all day. Blue of the sky looks good. Okay, is this one good or was the previous one good? Because I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough color choice because obviously you want this kind of blending uh, with the ocean, so it's not too bad. But you also want a kind of neutral-ish blue, and the other thing is like there will be clouds at some point. So all of those factors play a part. Ah, here, see? Told you. Makes my mistakes more visible, so now everyone's gonna know that I need to fix this part of the map. I think I actually have already fixed this part of the map. I'm just running on an outdated gen. I have to actually physically perform a generation of the areas to change the mesh. Yeah, so here you can see the ocean and the sky blue mixing. I don't think that's too bad. Yeah, I think the ocean's getting some red because I put some evening lighting on the directional light. So if I just white this out, that should also make a difference. Yeah. Yeah, so now we don't have the apocalyptic black sky anymore. We have something of a blue sky, and what we'll probably end up doing is inserting kind of, I know you like intense hues. Sky next to ocean could be a lighter hue and the ocean darker. But, okay, I'll try that out. Um, so let's see. Main camera. Let's see. Game view. Could do something like that. I think the nice thing is we've gotten the fog distance right. Uh, So this would be lighter than the ocean, and then I just need to match the fog. So if I go here, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty neutral, actually. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's also the two blues here, they don't fight each other, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so let's lock it in. That's going to lock it in. Again, I'm just messing with this for now. I want to do a day-night cycle. I want to do clouds. I want to do a sun in the sky that the player can see. And the player will obviously have full control over this. So if you don't want to have any of that stuff, you can just turn it all off. If you like it, you can have it. And then, yeah. And now we can fish with a little bit of a sky. We can see some mountains in the distance. Starts to feel like a real world instead of a dreamscape. Maybe it is a dreamscape, but that's for people to play the game and find out. Awesome. So now that we've made some headway with that, I think what we're going to do is start animating our slimes. So if I go down to my monsters, and where are we going to find? So let's see, we have two slimes to work with. We've got the actual slime itself, and then we have the greater slime. We've already added the lesser slimes to the game. So kind of my idea here is that we take inspiration from the lesser slimes in terms of how they're constructed and animated, and then we adapt the slime and greater slime bodies, and that should give us 10 more enemies, and then we can also place them in the game world and then go and walk around and see them. And I know they're all just slimes, but then hopefully our lightning slime field, where I love to test out the various weapons, is a little bit more fully fleshed out. And then I also wanted to possibly animate a fairy, because I thought it would be fun to animate the fairy's wings as flying, and then have them kind of be a little bit above the ground. So I thought that'd be pretty cool, especially because with the shadows now, that should look quite visually interesting. So to begin our journey here, the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of get all the files that I need. So the first one is I'm going to open all of our regular slimes. So if I just reduce my search mode to just slime, you'll already see all the graters. So grab our earth slime, and they all have kind of unique facial expressions. It's my favorite part about the slimes. But I'm definitely a lightning slime lover. I just favor the yellow. So now we go to enemy animations, and here we can grab one of these lesser slimes. What I'm really looking for with the lesser slime is what the motive was, how high they're jumping. So we'll jump into A sprite now, and I'll kind of show what I'm talking about. So here we have these kind of slimes, and here you can see how the jump animation and how this all ties together, and then obviously changes in their facial expression. So these lessers get a little bit annoyed when they're fighting you. So that's something that I'm going to consider. And then to introduce the slimes we're going to work on, we've got our earth slime, fire slime, he's angry, our lightning slime. I think I accidentally opened a greater lightning slime. I also opened a greater slime and a greater water slime, so oops. Here they are. These are the ones I wanted to work on. So slime, lightning slime, water slime. Okay, there we go. So here's our lesser fire slime. So this is the animation sheet we're going to work from. Here's our earth slime, fire slime, regular slime, lightning slime, and water slime. He looks peaceful. Cool. Sweet. So I think we're going to start with the regular slime. So if I look at how I've animated the idle here, I believe they kind of gloop up and then they gloop down. And is it only height based? It does seem to be. Are we losing any pixels here? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, looks pretty much the same. Fantastic. So I'm going to do something similar. I think we'll start with just the regular slime. So, 1, 2. There we go. Nice little slime idle. Do want to just check. I'm just curious. Just gonna. I thought they would have been a pixel thinner. Nope. Ah, that explains that. So, new frame. There we go. Cool, he looks patient. Okay, so for the run, we're jumping on one tile, we're jumping up, and we're jumping 1, 2, 3, descending to 1. That seems reasonable. And yeah, this is where he gets ready. Cool. So, start with this one. Hello to anyone and everyone that is watching. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in chat. So, jumping back to A Sprite. What we're going to do is second frame, he's going to pop up 1. Next frame, he's going to get thin. He's getting ready. You okay, Momo? We're going to pull him in on 2 directions. Yeah. And then the beauty of how we've done this is we can then bring this in like that. Pull this up 1, 2. Now we're going to get that kind of motion. Boop. And we can take this. And he's going to fall. And part of the fall. 1, 2. And the final frame. We can kind of absorb the fall, can you see, with this body transformation. And what we get with this subtle deformation of the character as we're animating him is that we get a little bit of liveliness, and that's kind of why I didn't fill in these pixels while doing this, was to illustrate this concept. So to take it from the top, we're taking our slime, we're kind of lifting him up, stretching, then we're pulling him in, and again from an elastics perspective, this is what would happen. And then we are tightening him up in that moment that it's like, you can think pulling a rubber band and letting go. And then finally this smaller slime is falling, and then it can rebound into its original shape. and it gives a nice squishiness to it. So what we're going to do quickly is we're going to just quickly fill in the missing data. Here, here, grab this shade. There we go. Possibly one change being protecting that eye. So now I can just go set loop section. I just need to put the black in. It's just there, there. Fantastic. There we go. And that's our slime walk. My only thought is because he's a bigger slime, maybe he needs to jump up one more pixel. And then this can be slightly more gradual. Maybe two more. Maybe like this. How does that look? Is it too much? Or is it fine? Let's think. It's quite a jump. I think I'm gonna bring it down by one. Cool. I think 4 is fine. 4 and then 2, and then land. Maybe even like. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, cool. And now I'm just gonna duplicate all of these for my run frame. If you wonder why I always duplicate the run frame, it's complicated. Basically, I've got it set up that there's a walk and a run. But right now, all of the enemies are programmed only to walk. So I just kind of have to make sure that it's available. We're going to do the attack cycle. So if we look over here, when we are doing an attack, we're always attacking in this direction to the right of the screen. The reason for this is the code will flip the sprite depending on where the actual player characters are. So by always ensuring you're hitting the same angle, you're kind of getting that nice kind of, you're ensuring that the player is witnessing what you're intending. Now we're going to push and move them a little bit. As you can see here, what I kind of have done thematically with the animation is I start big, then I pull him back, and then he spring loads out. And like the idea from a animation perspective is you can think of it like winding up a punch. You're like bringing the arm back and then it's coming out for the attack. That motion is familiar to people, so bringing that into slime tends to work quite well. So we are going to jump into this slime animation and we're going to work on our attack. Looking at this one, we chill for kind of 2 frames and then pull them in. I wonder if we make the eyes skeptical like we've done. I think so. So we'll do this. Grab 1 frame here. I think the 2nd frame will change the eyes. So and then the next frame, he's going to pull in 2 directions. So 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if the fully diagonal eyes work with this guy, if that makes sense. So I think what I'm going to do, just make his eyes a little bit more skeptical. Actually, I think that's fantastic. It's like, and then we're going to do it from there. So I'm going to keep the skepticalness. So the idea here being it's not the full 3 length eye that we're used to, but it's this 2 length, a little bit more judgmental. Did I move an eye out of frame here? Okay. Fantastic. So we're now in the small form, and we're going to spring out for the attack. So we're going to copy this frame, and here I've kind of made it a little bit angrier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this frame. The whole thing's going to jump up there. Also, just notice that. We can add our collision markers. Just a little bit of visual flair, so we know what's cooking. And oh, we've done it here. Just pick this guy up. Yeah. My next question is, did the fire slime increase in size? No. Yeah, only at the end. Like that works. Possibly moving of his eyes again. Let's play with the expression here. Possibly what we need to do is start like this and then go like this. Yeah, I think that captured the vibe I was going for. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be the final frame. This one's going to be there, and so then if we set this as our loop section, here we go. Still not sure how I feel about the eyes. So you know what, we're going to do this. I'm going to keep the shorter lines, but I'm going to move them in the direction of the player for the duration of the attack. And then this final frame can still have the skeptical eyes before he goes back. Again, it might be too distracting to have those eyes flicker mid-animation like that. Okay. You live and you learn. Can't call it an artistic process if you don't try things out. Yeah, okay, that works. That's what I wanted. So you can see how the eyes point in the direction of the attack as they're doing the attack. That kind of, I think, adds purpose and intention to the attack, and I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, we're going to have to... You know what, I like this because it allows the different slimes to keep their personalities, where their kind of expressive eyes can be a unique character trait of each slime. what's interesting is that the, what's the word? Lesser slimes, they change their expression during the attack, and I actually think that's appropriate for the lesser slime to do, if that makes sense. So if we look at the lesser fire slime, you can see it's normally just 2 dots for the eyes, and then they change into these more aggressive things. But again, this works for the lesser slimes because their eyes are so minimal to begin with. And the kind of greater and regular size slimes have these kind of proportions that are larger and allow for a little bit more expression with the eyes, so I think keeping the expression consistent makes more sense. Hello, James on YouTube. YouTube chat gang, sick animations. Lol. Hell yeah. Yeah, mostly on Twitch. I'm multi-streaming because I like the fact that YouTube will keep your stream when you're done, which is just really useful. But yeah, now I think I just need to add the death animation, and then we're done all of the slimes, because I'll show you how we're going to cycle through them real quick. But anyway, this gives us kind of this main animation, and then here we're going to do death. So pretty simple in Jericho. First we wipe them out, ghost mode, and then we dissolve them. And there we go. That's death. You want to see it? Awesome. These are all animations playing in sequence. Idle, run, die, attack. Fantastic. So now we export this as a sprite sheet with 6 columns, 5 rows. Fantastic. And make sure we get an output file. And we call this slime. This will try and erase, so I'm just going to go to slime A. So now if we go to our Unity scene, we can grab a... She can come inside, it's fine, man. Hmm? Well, we'll see. Should be fine. Crumble. Okay, yeah, so if we go back to Unity, and we can examine our monsters folder. You okay, Hannah? Okay. So if we jump back in here, we'll notice that we saved our slime, we have slime A. So now we can move this into our enemy animations and rename it to slime, because when we use our enemy creator tool, it'll automatically pick up these files based on their names. Which is very useful just for whenever we're adding things. It also forces us to stay pretty consistent with the naming convention, because then we can kind of just automatically jump in, and it feels quite useful. There we go. So now we have our slime animation sheet. And if we open this in a sprite, we have our nice completed sheet. Why do I want the completed sheet? Well, here's the fun part. I'm going to do this. If we don't just continue it. Cool, so if I grab this color and just drop this in here, what we end up getting is lightning slime minus the eyes. So now we just have to replace the eyes everywhere. Which should be pretty simple, because if I just select the block like this, I should be able to come here and yep. Ah, fantastic. Awesome. I'll take a break when food arrives so we can have lunch. Maybe we can get these lightning slimes done in that time. The best part is when we add more lightning slimes to the game, I can destroy them with lightning grenades. This is my favorite pastime. Or not lightning grenades, the poison and ice grenades. Eventually fire grenades, and lifesteal grenades, but always grenades. And always the lightning slimes. Cool. So, there we go. I think that is our lightning slime sprite sheet. And I think we'll just do all the slimes, and... Well, maybe I do everything and then we can do all the data entry and do all the placement as one big thing. I'm going to be taking a small break with lunch anyway soon. Anyway, this will now be called lightning slime. Fantastic. We jump to Unity. There it is. Oh, my head's behind it. Can I do this? Yes, there it is. So, basically, we're going to quickly do that and lock down our various slimes. Slime, 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 slime. I feel like I've said that word a million times now. Just losing my mind. I have slime on the brain. Cool. But regular slime is done and lightning slime is done. Just grab water quickly. It's pretty easy with the eyes as well. Back to Sprite. I don't know how long I haven't been on Sprite because I was definitely doing a fair amount of animating. My bad. It's only trick with the eyes. You gotta get the where they're lined up correctly. Again, I find this kind of work quite relaxing. Some people might not, even though it's a little bit repetitive. But it's also just like, get it done. I also find in that way that's where pixel art can be very satisfying. It's also strange because a lot of people will think pixel art's very simple, but I think the complexity of pixel art is like because your canvas space is so limited, what you actually can and can't show ends up having a lot more meaning. Okay, so I'm not too sure I like that. I think I probably need to do this whenever that happens. It felt like it worked there though. Pixel art still has untapped potential. Dude, pixel art is the best. I also just think it's achieved a timeless status in gaming, which is just really nice as a gamer because I feel like I can buy a pixel art game and get a pretty consistent art style experience, and it's not high cost uh, to the artist because you don't have to spend as much money to make a pixel art video game as you would to make like a hyper realistic AAA game, right? Okay, cool. So lunch has just arrived, which means I'm gonna quickly save this and thank everyone for watching for this hour, and come back. And when I come back, we're gonna finish the fire slime and earth slime. We're gonna finish the greater slimes, and then we're gonna add 10 new enemies to the game and run around and kill them. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Thanks everyone. Chat you all in a bit.